The day in the life of someone with ADHD. Okay, so this is probably done before, and it's just me chatting. It's not like a vlog kind of video. I say vlog because the sound vla really doesn't exist in English, so I'm not going to say vlog. It just sounds so weird to me. Okay, so I want to. It's near the end of my day, right? Near the end of my day, and I've had a really one of those terrible, terrible days because my ADHD got super, super duper in the way of my day, and I just want to share it now. The reason why I want to share my experiences, and I have done thus far, with my videos, is because when I first discovered that I had ADHD, I found a lot of videos on YouTube that were amazing, but they were very informational and also very high energy, and which is cute and funny and colorful, and I love those videos as well as the informational ones. But what I couldn't find was just videos about women like me who could just share their experiences, just normal daily experiences of what life is like with ADHD. And that was 4 years ago now, and I just want to do that now for others who are maybe discovering their ADHD in their 30s and 40s. Maybe you're a mum, maybe you're a wife, maybe you're running around, maybe you're not a wife, maybe you're just running around doing life, and you've just discovered you've got ADHD, and now you have to kind of learn about yourself all over again. So I want to share what my day was like today, because this can be how ADHD plays up in your life. Like, it can be really amazing to have ADHD powers, but at the same time, we know we have those really hard days, and we can feel so down and out and beat ourselves up. But once you know it's ADHD, it opens up the door for self-forgiveness, and I think that's why it's important for me to share my day with you today. So I've just freshened up my face with a bit of makeup, but you can probably tell that I've had a little cry because it was just too much. So today I wanted to teach my daughter how to catch the bus to her class. She has a class once a week that she goes to, and I normally drive her because it's just a 5-minute drive. But she's of an age where she's interested in learning to catch public transport, and I'm also interested in her fostering her independence too, because it will help me in many ways. It will just give me that one day in the week where I don't have to drive her, and she can reach her goals, and I can have like a bit of rest in my week where she can just trot off to her thing, and I can have my time. And so we caught the bus. We have to catch 2 buses to this activity, and we did so successfully enough. Then I had to get myself home. I put on a brave face for my child, but public transport ain't my friend. It's stressful. I think trains are usually easier for me, but buses, not really. Like, for starters, bus stops have their own names, and then they're on some random street that you don't really know the name of either. And then you've got to try and work out what time the bus comes, and then you've got to try and work out whether the bus you need to hop on actually goes through the area and through the street and an address that you need to get to. And you don't always, well, at least here, we don't get a detailed route of where the bus goes unless I just haven't known how to work that out yet. I have been driving since I was 24, and before that I used to ride my bike. So I don't have a lot of experience with public transport to begin with, and the few times that I have done, well, my first initial experiences in my teens with public transport was really not great. I have, I guess, a bit of trauma from my very first experience on a train, actually, but that's a story for another time. And I think that's why every time I do have to catch public transport, not only do I not know all these other details that I've mentioned before, and now I've got to work out how to find out that information, but I'm from the get-go on alert. Like, I'm on alert because, like I said, past experiences have not been wonderful. So I had to get myself home. I knew I had to catch 2 buses back home. I've caught bus number 1, and then I've hopped on what I thought was bus number 2. I had to catch bus number 454, and it went in the opposite direction. And I was like observing this going, what on earth is going on? It was the correct bus, but not the correct bus. It was the bus that actually heads into the city, and I didn't need to go into the city. I just need to go home. So anyway, I'm on the bus, the incorrect bus, and I looked at the time and I thought, by now I've got to get to my doctor's appointment. I may as well just catch public transport to my doctor. So I hopped off as soon as I could, planning to catch a bus out to my doctor. In the end, I decided, no, enough with buses. They're a bit more complex than I'd like them to be, so I'm going to catch the train. And I had about an hour before catching the train. So I thought I better get myself some breakfast. I hadn't had breakfast, walked into the shopping centre, grabbed some breakfast and a coffee. I needed to calm down by then. So what did I do? I decided to sort out my handbag because we need to regulate, right? We need to regulate, and sorting can be one way of regulating ourselves. So I've taken all the rubbish out of my handbags and put everything where it belonged, because everything was kind of everywhere, because, you know, that happens, and made it all nice and neat while I waited for my food and my coffee. And I happened to have a squishy in my handbag, and which is also for self-regulating if I ever need. And it's just a little squishy toy. It was gifted to my daughter. She didn't want it, and I thought, I can just keep it. I can have a squishy in my handbag. It's a cute little pink sausage looking thing, and I thought, I'm going to just squish this for the life of me, just to get energy out. I started to breathe calmly then, to breathe normally, and then some tears came up, because at that point already my day had become overwhelming. Thankfully, just squishing the squish toy just really helped, and then I felt nice and calm. My coffee's come out, my food's come out, and I sat and enjoyed. Then it was time to go catch the train. I was meant to get on platform 1 to catch the train that I needed, and there I was on platform 1, dutifully on platform 1. But along comes a train on platform 2, and ADHD impulsivity kicks in and goes, there's a train. It must be my train. Let's run over to platform 2 and just jump on the train, because it must be my train, surely. Okay. I know, right? I know it sounds so stupid. Like, why would you do that? But I just did. And there I was, just sitting on the train. I've still not worked out what I've done, right? I'm still like in La La Land. I'm just sort of sitting there, just sort of scrolling on my phone or something. And then I look up and I'm suddenly realizing, why are we heading into the city? I don't need to go into the city. And I'm like, where have I gone wrong? I needed to go that way, and I'm not going that way. Like, what happened? And only then did I piece it all together in retrospect that, 2 minutes ago, I'd impulsively, for no reason at all, run across to platform 2 and hopped on the wrong train, just because ADHD. So I thought, okay, this is just ridiculous. Where is my head today? I have no idea. So I've hopped off at the next train station. Thankfully, I know my city, right? Like, thankfully, I know my city, and I do know how to get around. So, but if I wasn't, like, man. Anyways, so I've hopped off and decided enough's enough with catching buses and trains for today. I now need to get to my doctor's appointment, which isn't, it's soon. So I'm going to call a cab. I called a cab. They took a little while to find me because I ended up on a very kind of busy intersection where they needed to pick me up. I ran over to the wrong cab and they were like, no, I'm not picking you up. I'm like, okay, all right. And then the right cab came and I hopped in, and he was a very silent driver, and whenever he was chatting in his own language. I assumed to somebody in his ear because I couldn't see that he was wearing any earphones or anything. So no music playing or anything, so I'm just sitting there in total silence on this drive. And I'm like, oh, well, at least we're on our way to my doctor's appointment. I gave my doctors a call saying, look, I'm going to be a bit late. They managed to accommodate for that, and that was great. Then the doctor's appointment went as it had to, and then it was time for me to go home. And I thought, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to walk up to the train station and catch the train home. I looked it up online just to see where I'm supposed to go. I was supposed to be catching one train and one bus, and I didn't like the route that it was giving me because I'm like, I've never ever hopped off at that particular bus stop. Like, I've never gone to that train station and had to catch the bus from there. So already I was like, I don't like this. I don't know, like, what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to supposed to get off after that. And I thought, oh, well, let's give this a go. I've already been to hell and back today, so why not give it another go? But then a train came, and thankfully it wasn't the train that the website had told me. It was a train that I knew. It's like the train that 100% goes past my area. So I hopped on the train. A very friendly gentleman was sitting across from me who started chatting away and telling me his life story, and I was like, thank you so much for kind souls like you who can just tell me your life story, because I need this right now. He was asking me the 20 questions, and I was like, oh, why are you asking all these 20 questions? So I kind of just decided to ask him questions, and anyway, we got along really well. He was really lovely, and he brought a smile to my face. I was like so thankful for that gentleman. And the only reason why he was on the train at that point was because he got sent home early from work. That's the only reason why he was on the train, and I was so thankful that he actually was, because he lifted up my spirits at that point. I hopped off at my nearest train station, and then I could easily work out the bus that I had to catch. However, I still had to catch 2 buses home and then walk some. So I've gotten home and I'm just so tired. I realize when I get home that all this pent up energy has just kind of come down, just leaving me now. And in fact, I met another kind gentleman. He could tell, I had to ask the bus driver a question, so he could tell that I wasn't quite sure where to catch the final bus home, and he came over and helped me out and said goodbye, have a lovely afternoon. I'm like, there are kind souls in the world still. So another kind gentleman just lifted my spirits up. I'm like, thank you for angels like that who just want to strike up a little conversation and just want to help you out a bit. I'm sorry, I'm distracted now, because if my hubby was here, he would be totally teasing me about how they just wanted to talk to me because they liked me. Like, no. Only you think I'm like super amazing. Like, come on. I joke. Anyway, I came home energy's like, I feel depleted. And then I just burst out crying. I had to have a cry. In the past, I wouldn't have let myself cry though. In the past, I would have been like, come on, you can do this. Don't be such a baby. Like, it's nothing. You just got mixed up. It's fine. Like, it was just buses and trains. Like, who cares? Like, nobody cares, you know? And I like just was really, really harsh on myself in the past. And now, like, knowing that I do have ADHD and that it can really get in the way sometimes, and honestly, just jumping on the wrong train literally was like kind of not my fault. Like it was my ADHD that just impulsively made me run onto the wrong train. And it just ruined a day like today. It ruined a day like today for me. So I had a cry and I let myself have a cry this time. I was like, you know, it's a funny thing. I've always had this quote, like this personal motto that says, feel it, be it. And I actually wrote a song and I named it Feel It, Be It, because it's all about being with you and your emotions and just really feeling the emotion and getting through it and letting yourself just feel it for as long as you need to and then moving on. And this was a concept, a motto that I came up with when I was a teenager. But I think once I reached like adulthood and was in the workforce, I kind of made myself really toughen up and I didn't allow myself to feel it and be it anymore. So for many years, I was like, nah, toughen up. You're grown up now. Like, you'll be fine. But that just doesn't always work. Especially if it's going to end up playing up with your nervous system and like those of us with ADHD, we're already prone to burnout, like I've been talking about. So we especially need to be kind to ourselves. We especially need to be self-forgiving. Especially so coming from the perspective that ADHD is really hard to understand for people around us, and it's also hard for ourselves to understand sometimes. Because like they say about autism, you've met one person with autism, you've only met one person with autism. I'd like to think that the same goes with ADHD. You've met one person with ADHD and you've only met one person with ADHD. Because if the next person with ADHD seems to have a fascination with trains and timetables and buses, they would probably absolutely thrive with the colorfulness of this train coming this way and that train coming that way, and them knowing them like their city inside out from the, you know, traveling on public transport. And they would they're probably those angels helping those others, you know, like I met today, giving out information. But for me and my ADHD, it's actually so much information, and some of the information I don't really know how to obtain or how to access, and I wouldn't even know the questions to ask. I wouldn't even know. I just wouldn't even know. There are things in life where I just go, I don't know. I just don't know. And so we especially need to, just be kind to ourselves. Get to a point where we know what our ADHD is like and how we struggle, and self-forgive. Because if we can do that, then we get to a point where we can actually explain to our loved ones, well, actually, this is why this happened to me today. Or actually, this is why I burst out crying in the middle of cooking dinner. Or actually, this is why I just need to zone out and please don't talk to me for a while. I'm going to go have a bath. So, but when we don't have the understanding, then it's kind of hard to explain as it is. So I want to share this because I look okay. Look, you know, I look okay. I've held jobs. I've done the mothering thing and gotten really good feedback, actually. People are like, oh my goodness, you do amazing things for your daughter, and I don't know, because I'm creative and that kind of thing. And I do have my strengths, and people see those strengths, and that's really awesome. But what people don't see is the silent struggles, the invisible struggles. Because whoever saw me running on that train would never ever think that that person has a certain mental condition, shall we call it that? I don't know, just neurodivergence, and is actually running right into the wrong train. They would never think that. Not with these pretty earrings anyway. So, like, you know, you just never know who you're walking past in the street, and people don't know that when they walk past you as having ADHD, that you might be struggling in that moment. People don't know. So yeah, I wanted to share that because maybe you've had a day like that in the past where everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. You couldn't get cash out, and then you had to run back to the car, and then you forgot your wallet, and then you had to run all the way back home, and you left your groceries behind, and you had to go back for the groceries, but then you had to get to an appointment, or you had to pick up your child, and then your child's had a meltdown, and you're also having a meltdown, and like, these days aren't just bad days. These bad days can actually be for a reason. And once we understand that, I think we can, yeah, again, start meeting our needs. So yes, discover you, be kind to you, love you, be with you, and keep going on your journey. Okay, bye.